welcome back. This is day 10 of our 90-day challenge. I still look gross. My whole family has the flu. I think that I'm actually getting it as well. Feeling a little bit sticky kind of in my throat. So I apologize for my appearance. And at the same time, I'm on Tamiflu to make sure that I can continue making these phone calls. So that's my goal over the next couple of days, is just to stay healthy enough. To take care of my family. Taking care of kids when they're sick or when I'm sick is just the worst. But I also want to continue to make phone calls. So let's keep going here. So let's see. Let's just start to go through our leads. I wanted to do something a little bit differently today. And instead of leaning on the cash offer, what I wanted to do is talk about the cash offer and then maybe pivot into creative as we realize that a cash offer doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I might present that in a very soft way. So I'll kind of work through that a little bit. And then I'm going to present creative also in a very soft way. Because these are brand new to the market, I want to pitch it in a very, very non-threatening way. Just as an option, consider it when you guys get there, that sort of thing. So let's dive right in.
Hello, you have reached Julia Disatarocha.
Let's do double dial. Double dial Friday. So we'll call it today. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if this works.
Hello, you have reached Julia Disatarocha, an associate broker.
All right, I sent her a text. This one is nice and ugly. I'm not.
Has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang.
Someone just called me back. Let's see. Oh. All right. This is the first lady who we reached out to. So let's call her back.
Hello, good morning. This is Julia.
Hi, Julia. It's Mike. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I am calling you about your listing that you just listed on Southland Drive. And
yes, how may I help you?
Well, I'm looking at this as a possible investment. And so I'm trying to learn a little bit more about the area to see if this might be a good investment opportunity for me.
Okay.
What can you tell me about the neighborhood or the house that would make it potentially a good purchase for me?
It's a very nice neighborhood, well maintained. It has swimming pool, tennis court. It has a nice appeal. And it has an option to join golf or not. It's not like a part of the neighborhood, but it is right on the back of the neighborhood. And this particular lot has the golf course view, which is, I think, a plus, and it's also located in the cul-de-sac. so not that much traffic, very quiet there, and very scenery. I think it's a safe neighborhood. So, what other questions do
That's
you
really
have?
helpful. Actually, that's a really good start. So, in terms of the neighborhood itself, it sounds like it's in an HOA. Is that right?
Yes, there is HOA.
Okay. Are there any rental restrictions at all?
I asked my clients to reach out to HOA and ask this question. I need to follow up with them if they received a response or not. I looked at other listings in the neighborhood that are for sale and sold. I don't see that it is checked as there are rental restrictions, but I have not verified it with HOA.
Okay. I'm looking at the pictures right now. It looks like the basement is unfinished, right?
Correct. Yes.
How much square footage is down there?
It's pretty much the footprint of the home.
Okay.
So the home is itself is, I think, 2536, if I remember correctly.
Uh-huh.
So you just divide it.
Got it. So about 1,300 square feet or so.
Something. Yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, have you guys gotten any estimates on what it would take to finish that out?
I don't. I can give you the contact information for my contractor because you're the first person who is asking about it. I can ask my clients if they got any estimate in the past, but I don't know.
Okay. All right. That's easy enough.
Are you thinking about finishing with the bathroom, the bedroom, and the living room? Is that the finishes that you are talking about?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about this. I know that's already a big place at 5 bedrooms. What I'm finding in terms of the houses that I've been purchasing recently is that there's some homes that would like to add another bedroom or even 2 potentially. So I just want to see what.
I think it will definitely accommodate.
Okay, great. Well, I'll take a quick look at that. I know that you guys are brand new on the market, so I don't even know if you guys have offers quite yet. But if I
Not yet. I just listed it yesterday.
Right. So if I gave you guys an offer and it was a cash offer, is there any flexibility at all in the price?
I don't know, to be honest. What price do you have in mind?
I don't even know yet. I haven't really put that together, but generally, and I don't like to do this, especially since it's brand new on the market, but generally if I'm paying cash, I'm going to want a little bit of an equity built into my price. So it's not a whole lot, but just a little bit.
Okay. If you want to give me the terms, I can certainly run it by the sellers and ask.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can definitely do that. And then the alternative too, and I don't know if you've even been presented with something like this or if you've even heard of something like this, but if I came in and if I made sure to pay you your commission directly and then also take care of the closing costs and pay out the sellers their equity that they currently have, would they be open to me taking over the mortgage that's already in place?
We would need to find out if it is a assumable mortgage or not. I can ask them to reach out to their lender and ask if the mortgage can be assumed or not.
Okay, yeah, I'm not talking about a formal assumption. What I'm basically just talking about is them leaving the loan in place as is, and then I simply come in and take responsibility for paying that mortgage.
Okay. Okay. Is it like more like owner kind of financing type?
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Basically, what we would do, and I know that you guys aren't even close to thinking about something like this. So I'm really just kind of planting the seed. But the way that we structure it is we actually provide the seller with a note and deed of trust, so it isn't owner financing, and that's partly how they're protected in the transaction. So I'm just kind of, again, I'm planting a seed for future reference. If you guys do decide to go down that route, I would be interested.
Okay. Okay, I can ask. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me take another look at it. Maybe what I'll do is just send you over maybe an idea of how I would structure something like that. And again, I know that it's a very, very distant second option for you guys. So don't think of it as me leading.
Yeah, send me probably an email with the terms, or maybe like if it was cash, how much would you pay, or another option with this on a financing deal, and I can run it by the seller.
Sure, that sounds fine. Okay, great. I'll do that. Thank you so much for your time, Julia.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Oops. The next one I'm going to try to pitch it as an owner finance and see where that goes. Because what I don't want to do is necessarily get in the back and forth of, is this assumable? Let's make sure to talk to the lender and see if it's assumable. She's not going to do that. I'm not worried about that right now. But I don't necessarily want to get into the habit of having to explain to her on day one of the listing that I'm not talking about an informal assumption. I'm talking about us just simply taking over the underlying mortgage. So I think a better way for me to do that potentially is just to talk about owner financing and see if the sellers would be open to owner financing the property to me, mirroring the underlying financing that they already have in place. This property is listed in the mid fours. It looks like there's about $20,000 in equity as it currently stands, and that's paying agents' commissions and closing costs and that sort of thing. So I don't know if this is a great opportunity. It could potentially be. But again, the idea here, because we're hitting this so early in the listing process, is just to very, very softly have these communications and see where it goes. So I want to start to lay the foundation for her. If this works out, amazing. I'm not anticipating it, but if it works out, amazing on this property. But realistically, again, what I'm always trying to do is build this relationship and the education for something down the line. So let's see how that goes. But I'm going to send her over that cash option and then also an owner finance option. And the way that I'm looking at this too is that owner finance in my mind is the same thing as sub 2. The only reason I'm saying owner finance is because it's easier for the agents to understand and follow, and it accomplishes the same goal, right? What we're going to do is we're going to mirror the financing that's already in place. So let's say that this is a 4% FHA loan. I'm going to want to mirror that financing, but give the seller a note and a deed of trust. And that's how I would structure it, but also help them be protected in the process of it. So that's why I was doing it that way. I'm just going to move some things around here for her. Okay. Man, working when you're sick is not fun. Also, when your brain's not working correctly, you're just trying to keep your head above water. It's kind of how I feel here. This one is a negative equity deal. I like this one a lot.
Mitzi Kirsch's office.
Hi, is Mitzi in, please?
She is not. Can I take a message for her?
Yeah, sure. Is there a better way to reach her?
We take her messages.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was calling about a listing. I'm looking to buy one of her listings.
Okay. Which one?
The one on Annabelle Drive.
All right, we just listed that. What's your phone number?
It's 469-871-8687.
Okay, have you seen the property?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
So are you wanting to see it live in person, or you're just looking at it online?
I'm just looking at it online.
Okay. And what's your name?
Mike Jackson.
So you're wanting to offer on the property?
I want to ask a couple questions first, but then potentially offer on it, yeah.
Okay, I might can answer your questions. What are your questions? And if I can, I'll have her answer them and call you back.
My questions are, so I'm looking at this as an investment, and I'm curious if there's an HOA on the property.
There is an HOA. I think it's very, very little. I can confirm that. Hold on.
I guess my only concern with the HOA is probably not the cost, but rather, are there restrictions for rentals?
No, there's not. Now, are you wanting to offer below asking price? 'Cause I know that's not going to be an option for the seller because she's basically just bought this property a couple of months ago and is already losing.
Oh, got it.
And not making a profit. So, I mean, if that's kind of the scenario, I don't think this is the one for you.
No, it's really funny, and I think that agents have been. Anytime I mention that I'm buying as an investment, people are thinking that I'm going to lowball them, and that's not the case. I was fine with the purchase price. That's fine with me. But I guess now that I'm thinking about it, since she's losing on this, would she be open to owner financing this to me?
No, no weird, creative financing options or anything like that. We get that a lot, but it is $330 a year, and I think there's a. Let's see. I mean, it would have to be a strict, purchase for her to make it work.
So, just out of curiosity, in this case, since she's losing, why wouldn't she be able to owner finance this?
She doesn't want to owner finance. I mean, she's getting married, and she needs to have this off of her credit in order to be able to purchase another home.
Got it. That's exactly what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really a concern about purchasing her next home.
Yeah, she just needs to have it off of her.
Got it. Well, I would love to show you guys how that could work, because I think that that's something that she can actually benefit from. There is a way for her to be able to purchase without much of a problem and owner finance.
Yeah, we get this a lot. I already know about all the things and the ways that you can say it's not really her making the payments and that sort of thing, but that's just not going to be an option for her.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't I do this? I'll just keep an eye on this. Honestly, I think that this is, and I know that this is coming from my biased perspective, but I think that's probably the best way for her to go. So I'll just keep an eye on it and see if anything changes on your guys' end.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Oops. I knew that I was going to do that. Okay. I found myself getting really frustrated on that phone call. And I think partly because my brain's not functioning well and I'm not feeling very well. But at the same time, it's really interesting to hear agents say things like, well, should they just need this off their credit report so that they can purchase their next home? And then, of course, the response that she gave following that was I know all the things. The reality is that she doesn't know all the things. So, what I could have done differently there, what I should have done differently there, is actually have a conversation about a deal that, presenting the third-party story, right? Providing proof that this is something that can happen based on a previous example that mimics their situation. This is a VA loan. It's a pretty good VA loan, around 4%. She's right. They're losing about $5,000, $6,000 on this deal as it stands right now. So the reality is that they're probably not going to be able to even sell at the price that they're currently listed at unless this property in the market's seen a ton of appreciation. So why wouldn't I come in there and say, okay, cool, let me actually, instead of them having to pay at close, why don't I pay them at close? So it's actually a net positive instead of a net negative for them. If their concern is only about them purchasing a house in the future, no problem. Let me refer you to somebody who can answer your question from a more authoritative standpoint than me. I'm not a loan officer. I'm no mortgage broker, but I can imagine that me telling them that isn't going to make a whole lot of headway. Why don't I refer them to someone who can make headway and show them how it could work? The other thing about this too, and this is kind of where I got a little bit frustrated, where I get frustrated in general, is the idea that she shut me down. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about that. She's shutting me down. She does not want to do this. She will not hear anything right now. So what I get frustrated about is it's not really even about her. It's more about me. What can I do better to get past that point? And I think a third-party story, I'll try that next time. See if I can wiggle my way in even just a little bit. Or maybe even take this property completely off the table and talk about something else that'll bring me in a roundabout way back to the subject property. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to see where I can take that. But that's a struggle of mine, and that's where I get frustrated on my own, is the idea that I can't get past that. So that's something that you guys are going to run into really, really often. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a follow-up due date in a week. Vehemently against anything unconventional. Okay. All right, I'm going to set this in my follow-up. I'm not going to send anything quite yet. But man, I did feel kind of icky there. Didn't like that at all. That's my fault. What I can tell her is that she is going to get a lot of phone calls. Let me change this. My camera's all messed up. Okay. She's going to get a lot of phone calls here in about 2 weeks. So I want to get ahead of that and see what we can potentially offer her. It's also frustrating, too, when I can't talk to the listing agent.
Hi, this is Pat.
Hey, Pat, this is Mike. How's your Friday going?
Good.
Good. Mine's going well. Thanks for asking. I was calling you about a listing of yours on Newman Avenue. I saw that it was just listed. I'm looking to potentially purchase an investment property in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Is there an HOA here? What can you tell me about this neighborhood?
No, there's not an HOA. And it's not really a neighborhood. It's just in Lakewood.
Okay. Would this be a good investment property for me?
If you're looking to rent it out to young professionals, then yes.
What do you think the rent would be on it?
Since it's a single family, I'd say the high 2000s, possibly 3000, but probably higher 2000s is more realistic.
Wow. Really that much, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's surprising news. That's great. I know it's a little bit older. Is there anything that has to be redone on the property in the next couple of years? Any sort of major capital expenditures?
Nope. It has been completely redone, and it qualified for the green renovations in Lakewood, so it has a tax abatement until 2026.
That's cool. Yeah, it looks like a beautiful property. Did you renovate this yourself?
No, it was the prior owners that did it.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so if I were to submit an offer on this, and I got to take another look at it before I do that, but is there any flexibility at all in the pricing if I submit a cash offer?
I think they're a little bit flexible, not like a ton, but yeah, a little bit.
Okay. The other way that I could go around it, I don't know if this is something that they would even consider, but would they consider providing financing on this potentially? Or me taking over the mortgage that's already in place?
We've already had a lot of people ask about that, and they are not interested in doing that.
Got it. Any concern from their standpoint specifically?
Well, they're purchasing a new home, and they can only have one VA loan in their name.
Why?
What?
Why is that?
Because there's a limit to how much loan amount can be sent through the VA.
Yeah. Got it. So they're concerned about their entitlement?
Yeah.
Okay. Look into that, by the way. They could probably qualify for about $450,000 with 0% down if they keep this on their credit report.
Yeah, well, they've already looked into it. They can't do it. Trust me, you're like the 10th person that's asked about that.
Got it.
They're not interested in doing anything like that anyways.
Got it. No, I was just more interested from an educational perspective. Generally, people think that you can only have one VA loan on your credit. That's not the case. It's really all about the amount that's borrowed and the location.
Yeah, and the house that they're looking to purchase is a new build, and they won't have enough.
Got it. So it's a much more expensive home.
Yeah.
I see. That makes perfect sense. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, let me take a look at this and see if it's worth me submitting a cash offer on this. I know that you guys aren't going to go the creative route. Anything else that you have available, Pat, that might be worth an investment?
Not really. I would say Lakewood is definitely. I have investment properties in Lakewood. That's pretty much the only place that I would have investment properties in Cleveland. But I don't have anything right now that would be like investment worthy.
Got it. Do you have anything that I'm also looking for some fix and flips in the area? Do you have anything like that?
Not personally, but I do have clients of mine that do look for that. So I send them pretty much those on a regular basis.
Okay. Well, I'd love to be added to the bottom of that list if that's possible. Can I send you over my email address just in case you come across something?
Yeah, that's fine. What price range are you looking for?
I'll go up to $450,000 on cash.
I mean, if you're doing a flip, I would highly recommend to lower that amount by a lot. In Cleveland, 450 is quite a bit.
It is, but we also do some higher end flips as well. So we go from the very basic to really high end flips.
Gotcha.
So, anything that you come across that does need renovation, that's something I'm willing to take a look at.
Okay. Yeah, if you send me over your email, I can set you up with a search. I'm actually, in about 5 minutes, I'm heading to a listing appointment, but I can do it once I'm done.
No worries. I'm in no rush. I appreciate your time, Pat. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Bye-bye. All right. I find myself getting really feisty today. So it might be one of those days where I might potentially get into an argument with an agent. In fact, when that agent picked up, I was definitely chippy, right? I was like, thanks for asking about how my day was too, which she didn't ask. So what's interesting about that, and let me really think about this a little bit, because I think that his excuse for not doing something creative didn't make sense to me. But when he explained it to me that they were buying a new home at a higher price point, wanting to use their VA entitlement, then it made sense to me. But the way that he explained it is that they couldn't have more than one VA loan out at a time. And that's when I kind of chipped back at him a little bit. My work, this is me just being completely transparent, blunt, honest, open, is that I am not good at that. I'm not. I don't deal well with secrecy, or I don't deal well with people who aren't open to other possibilities, and that's my work. I got to be much more flexible with that. So this is one that I think that I'm definitely going to use as an example of maybe what I could have said a little bit differently from a softer perspective and not getting as snarky. It's probably the best way to say it. So let's continue to push through here. What I'm going to do here is follow this. I'm going to do a 30-day follow-up on this. So my notes are going to be sellers not open to creative. They are purchasing a new build and need their entitlement. Then I'm going to set a follow-up due date here for April. Okay. Interesting, though, that these are being called. This has been on the market for 2 days, and it's also gotten a ton of views. But that rent, holy smokes, that rent to purchase price, pretty darn good. good leads today. I'm liking these ones. This is like $5,000 to the seller, traditional sale, 3.5% VA loan.
Hi, you have reached Deanna Dalton.
3.5% conventional loan, actually, which is even better. That way I don't have to worry about the VA entitlement questions.
Hi, you have reached.
The other thing that I want to do here as well is lean into the idea that these agents are now being called by a lot of people. I don't know if I want to assume that they're being called by a lot of people or if I should just wait for their response, but I think 2 out of the 3 that we've spoken with so far today have been contacted by a lot of agents. Or, sorry, investors, not agents.
Hi, you've reached Tiffany.
A new lead. Press any key to connect.
Hey, Deanna, it's Mike. How are you?
Hey, Mike. I'm sorry about that. I'm just fielding all these calls for the house. So, what can I answer for you? I'm so sorry I missed your call.
Well, now that I know you're getting hit up by everyone and their mother, I'm going to reduce my number of questions to 2, if that's okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm looking at this property, and I'm just to kind of give you a little bit of quick background. I'm moving back into the area. I lived in Chapel Hill for a while. Now I live in Texas, but my family's moving back to that area. And so I'm looking at something that could be a good property for us for probably a couple years or so. And I'm curious if after we move, is this something you think that I might be able to rent out as a long-term investment for myself?
Well, the thing about the property is, and you're calling more as an individual and not as an agent, you would have to speak to the HOA because there are other rentals that are in there, Mike, but I don't know anything about it. My client lives in this home. I do know she shared with me that the property across the street from her had to be renovated from a past renter, and they had to lower the rent because they had not kind of updated it. And I don't know the amount, and don't quote me on this. I believe they were getting like $1,800 on it. So there are other rentals in there. Now, this unit that I have for sale is very, very updated and probably the most updated unit in that development. I manage a lot of property as well, and I have other rentals that are kind of higher end, that are condos, townhouses, and, I could get more than that based on the condition. So it's more, if you guys would buy it, move in, you would almost need to talk to the HOA because some HOAs are putting moratoriums on renting it out afterwards.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's why I was kind of curious. What's the HOA fee?
It is $219 a month.
Okay. And what does that cover? Does that cover the building?
It doesn't. It covers HOA association. Hold on, and let me get my file for it again to tell you, because the MLS listing has changed, and it will not allow us to put on there, for some reason, what the original. I'm also telling everyone, because my client had to get an HO3 policy because her insurance said that the roof was not included in the policy. Another agent that owned there said that it was, and we were not seeing that as proof when we were reviewing it when my client was buying it. So the HOA covers the HOA association, the maintenance of the common areas, maintenance of exterior, and maintenance of grounds, the pool, and the road maintenance, because it is on a private road.
Okay.
So you would be responsible for your windows, for possibly the roof, your HVAC system, your back deck. So
Now, I can't see from the pictures that I'm looking at, is this roof shared with somebody else?
it is.
Okay. Interesting. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Oh, and there's lots of them right here, Mike, that are like that. It's kind of mind-blowing. And I just, I have a property under contract for a client, and it says in their HOA, if one roof needs repaired that's shared, the other one must be done at the same time.
Okay. Interesting. All right, great. Well, I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, and then I'll let you get back to all your other agent phone calls that you have to do today. It must be.
It's Friday. I manage a lot of properties. I have this property listed and other clients. It's just welcome to the world of real estate. It's nothing that's,
You and me both.
You know that you live in Texas. Texas is the same way.
Yep.
It ebbs and flows.
Yep, you and me both. And in fact, my job is in real estate, so my next question is going to be informed by that at least. If I don't know if the seller is open to something like this, but are they open to either offering seller financing on this or me taking over the mortgage?
Nope.
Okay.
There's too much activity on the property for that.
Got it.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good news. Well, why don't I do this then? I will consider this as a conventional purchase first, and then I'll keep an eye on it. If I need to go the other route, I'll just keep an eye on it and see if that's ever an option down the line. Speaking of that, have you ever done a transaction like that where someone's taken over the mortgage or seller financing?
I don't, and we're not big on that. So I've seen that. I'm an investor myself, but I buy property and don't do anything like that. It's funny. I'm seeing people trying to bring that, but in Raleigh, you're not going to see that. So the market's too strong, and there's too many cash buyers that can pay for it and conventional loans that I have not seen that. Back in 2000, and don't quote me, was it 2008 and 2007? We were seeing things like that because of what was happening in the economy. And it was just with all the foreclosures and everything. But, I've been a real estate agent for a very long time. Are you an agent in Texas?
No, I'm not. I used to sell multifamily buildings in Los Angeles, but I'm not an agent here in Texas.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then are you just an investor basically?
Yeah. So what I do is I buy rental properties. Or what I'll do is I'll buy on owner financing and then sell on owner financing. In fact, we own 3 properties in Raleigh, and we purchased them this way. So they're out there. They're actually really common as far as our world goes. But if you ever come across something, we're always looking for something like that.
Okay. Yeah, and this definitely is not that property.
Yep.
With the properties that I've seen and I manage and investors, they're never interested in that. They want clean deals.
Sure.
They're not looking for anything where it's taking over. But I definitely will put your name out there. If you'll send me your information, I can share it because I have a lot of investors, and then I have all my private clients as well. But when you have a property that's a really good property, they tend to go fairly quickly because of the condition that they're in.
Of course.
And this one, it's definitely in that mark. But, definitely if you have any questions, definitely give me a call back.
I'll definitely do that. What about, just last question, would any of your clients want to buy that way on owner financing? Would they be looking?
No.
Really?
No.
Why not?
Nope. They don't. A lot of my investors are cash buyers, and they do loans, and no, I've never seen them wanting to do that.
Interesting. Yeah. So
And I've been in the business for many, many years, and I can tell you myself as an investor, I wouldn't do it. So it's just, it's a personal preference.
yeah, no, I get that. The only reason I was bringing that up is generally people who are buying lots of rental properties can purchase more if they're purchasing with 5% down as a down payment, and they're also getting a 3% loan. So that's kind of why I was curious.
Well, you also, though, you have people that can work with certain lenders that if it's a second home, they can get away with it. And then there's other avenues that they can do. And then cash buyers are able to then have a lender take money out of the existing, what they've just bought, to give them their money back to have a loan to move it to the next property.
Sure, but
And
they're going to get
some
an
lenders-
8% loan, right?
Yeah. Huh?
They're probably going to get a DSCR type of loan, or like an 8%, 7% or more loan.
Well, no, actually, some of these players that are up here now, they want to be big time players. And it's interesting. Chase is really coming in strong in North Carolina, and I own properties in other states, and I'm kind of shocked at how much of a player they want to be. They're really trying to hit the home market, the car market. It's kind of crazy.
What are they offering for financing?
The last one that I saw from an investor, and it was a month ago, he got a 4.6% interest.
That's aggressive. That's really aggressive. Good for
Oh,
them.
yeah. Yeah. So, and, they're offering all these special rebates and programs and things, but no, I'm not seeing, what you're talking about that often. And I've been an agent for many, many years.
Okay.
So,
Cool. Well, it's always
hey,
nice to get someone else's
proud to
perspective.
you. If you can do it, move on.
Well, thank you, Deanna. I appreciate you.
I don't want to knock anybody in what they're doing. You know what I mean, Mike?
Nope, you're not. No one can knock me off this high horse. I love this one. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If you got to follow the train. You're at the point in your life where you want to buy more, and I tell everybody, I want to have less.
I don't blame you.
So,
I don't blame you. That's why I'm going to move into the notes here pretty soon, so I don't have to own anything besides a mortgage.
Yeah. So are you moving here to Raleigh, or are you just trying to buy an investment property?
I'm doing both. So my family's moving back there, but as a result of us moving back there, I'm increasing my portfolio in the area just because I'll be there for 2 or 3 years. So
Okay.
I'd rather start to build on my portfolio there while I am there.
Got it. Well, I wish you good luck, and if there's any other questions I can answer, feel free to give me a call.
Thank you. Have a great Friday.
But you too. See you later.
Bye-bye. I'll write a note here. Okay. Set a follow-up date for 2 weeks. Okay, so interesting. That was one where the agent was definitely stuck in her ways, right? She would never do a creative deal. She wouldn't recommend that her sellers or her buyers do a creative deal. I think it's really interesting. So what she's basically saying is that her buyers are going to come in with cash. They're going to get a cash out refi to get their cash out of the deal. But here's the thing is that unless someone's buying it at a discount, and then they can show that the property is worth more when they do a refinance, most likely they're keeping some money in the property. If it's a long-term rental in good shape, there's not a whole lot of opportunity there to buy at a discount potentially. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. It depends on the market and the deals that they're finding. But let's just say, for example, that someone buys a house at $300,000. That's how much this one is. They buy it cash. It's worth $300,000. It's on the market. The market dictates the price, right? The buyers do. So at some point, what she's saying is that a buyer is going to refinance to get their cash back out but generally they're going to get somewhere between 65 and 80% on the highest end to get their cash back out. So let's say that it's 70%. Let's just kind of split somewhere around the difference there, the middle. So 300 grand, they're going to get $210,000 out. They still have 90 grand into the deal. So that's a third, right? 30% that they still have in the deal. And let's say best case scenario, they get a 4.6% rate from Chase. Why would they put 30% down if they could put 10% down and get a 3% rate? And at the same time, buy into a mortgage that's already been in place for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. There's been principal pay down. There's going to be more principal pay down because, as you guys know, amortization schedules kind of go like this, right? There's much more interest on day one than there is principal. And then as it goes, it kind of does one of these things. This is a really good time for me to take a couple minutes and just kind of monologue about the advantages of creative over the way that she is saying. What she's basically saying is that people with cash are going to buy a deal, then eventually cash out, whether it's right away. If it's right away, they're not going to get all their cash out unless they're buying at a massive discount, which I don't think that they are. If they're buying 10 years down the line, there's been built up equity and principal pay down, then great. You can get your cash back out, no problem. But the advantage of creative in this case is they can come to the table with 10% down and get a 3% loan, as opposed to have 30% of their money in the deal, right? Their equity position's 30% when they're doing a cash out refi, and at best they're getting a 4.6% interest rate. Why wouldn't they do creative? That agent right there was definitely stuck in her ways, right? Any agent who says I've been in the business forever, I've never done something like that or never seen something like that, is stuck in her ways or his ways, in this case, hers. So there's not a whole lot that I'm going to be able to do to move her along the lines of, oh, wow, this is a great way to purchase. She's stuck. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can, and I'm not going to try to move her, right? But something that we could do is educate her, right? Say, hey, just out of curiosity, and I tried to do that there. Why wouldn't a buyer of yours, you manage lots of properties, why wouldn't one of your buyers want to buy a rental property this way as opposed to this way? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I always like to leave the possibility of me being wrong, which I'm wrong a lot. I don't think that I'm wrong in this case.
Hello, this is Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany, it's Mike. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. You caught me with the driest piece of bread in my mouth. I apologize. I was calling you about your new listing on Pine Street in Wendell.
Yes.
So I saw that just went live very, very recently, last day or so. I'm looking at this as a possible investment for myself. So I want to give you a call and just get a general idea of the neighborhood and see if it might be a worthwhile investment for me.
Okay. Are you an agent?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So I guess what I'm really curious about, first of all, is just the property itself. I know that it was built a while ago. So my first question, just as an investor who buys rental properties, are there going to be any sort of major capital expenditures, you think, in the next couple of years, for example, on this one?
Not to my knowledge. It's pretty updated.
Yeah, it looks like it was recently renovated. Did the last owner do it or the one before that?
So it was the last owner that did it, and then the current owners also did a lot of renovations. I have a list that I can send you if you'd like, but they replaced the HVAC in 2022, I believe, so that should be fine. Don't know about the roof. I don't think my current owners replaced it, so probably previous owner. But yeah, it was the previous owners that did some major renovations, and then my current owners also did renovations.
Okay. Yeah, the roof looks like it's in okay shape, so I don't think that's anything immediate.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what the rent would be on something like this?
I do not.
Okay. Have you guys gotten a lot of activity on this one?
We've had some showings, yeah, and we've got an open house scheduled for this weekend.
Okay, perfect. Maybe I can try to make it out there.
Yeah.
Any offers quite
It's
yet?
on Sunday.
Okay. Any offers yet?
Nope, no offers yet.
So this is probably a dumb question then, given the fact that you guys are brand new and you don't have any offers quite yet. But would the sellers consider doing a seller finance on this?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's really no way for them to do that.
Because their next move.
Well, they don't own it outright. There's a loan on the property.
Okay, I'm looking at some of the numbers here just to see if anything makes sense for me to talk about with you right now while I have you on the phone.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Well, why don't I do this? I'm gonna take another look at this, see if it's worth me submitting a conventional offer on this, and see if that works. Just out of curiosity, Tiffany, do you have anything else that I should be taking a look at that maybe you have on market or one of your colleagues in the area for a possible investment?
I do have another condo. It is in Cameron Village condos. It's a little bit less than this one. It's listed at $340. It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath condo.
Okay. What about any potential rehabs? Do you have anything that's really ugly that needs renovation?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Well, what I'll do is when I send you over an offer, I'll just include my contact info, obviously. And if you come across anything else that you think I should take a look at, that'd be great for you to send over to me.
Sure. Sounds good.
Cool. Thank you, Tiffany.
All right. Thank you.
Man. Maybe a shower would help. I feel gross. What's sticking in my mind on that phone call is the idea that she said that they can't do that because they have a mortgage in place. I can't see anything stopping them from putting another mortgage on this property. The seller could seller finance this to me, and I definitely could have explained it differently and better to her. But the idea of a mortgage being in place and then another mortgage being in place in second position happens all the time, right? Most of the time it's a much smaller second position loan. In this case, it would just basically be a wrap, right? We would basically, in a perfect world for me, I'm mirroring the financing that's already in place. Seller's going to give that note to me. We're going to mirror exactly term for term what they currently have and what they're currently paying on. So, yeah, I didn't really want to get into a back and forth with her on that at all. But that is definitely a possibility. I'm going to give her a call back in a little while. The other thing, too, that threw me off on this one, or just wasn't as appealing, is that there's a $25,000 equity spread on here at a $300,000 price point. So I'm just not in a position where I want to pay that amount of cash out of pocket to the seller. So what I'm going to do here is just follow up in, what is that? That's a week. I'm going to see if they've had any offers in a week. That's what I'll do. And then at that point, that's when I'm going to bring up the idea of, hey, why don't they consider something like this? Or what I'll do is just let her know that, hey, this is one way we purchased. Do you have anything else that might be suitable for this type of arrangement? and then follow up in 30 days, because what I'm really looking for is a situation where they're not getting the price they're looking for on market, and they drop the price, and they drop it a little bit more and a little bit more, to the point where maybe it gets down to $10,000 cash to seller with a traditional sale. And then that's when I can come in and say, okay, cool. Why don't you guys do this? Maybe I can pay you either the same or a little bit more. In fact, if you guys don't want to wait any longer, we can do something like this. So just my 2 cents there. Agent sound. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. All right, let's keep on moving. We'll call for another 10 minutes here. Big equity spread on this one. Let me text her.
Hi,
What I found, and I don't know if you guys have found this as well, is that Fridays are generally a slower day for agents to pick up. My thought process on that is that they're potentially getting ready for the weekend, open houses, that sort of thing. We've actually had some good connections today, which is nice. But generally, Fridays are a little bit slower.
on.
Hey, LaShawn, this is Mike. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. I was calling you about your listing on Ring Rose Court. I saw that you just listed that yesterday.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking at this personally. By the way, I'm a buyer. I'm not an agent. And I'm looking at this as an investment potentially for me.
Uh-huh.
And what kind of activity have you guys gotten on it? It looks like it's a great place.
Yep, we literally just listed it on Wednesday, so we've gotten great activity.
That's good. Any offers yet?
Not yet. We're doing an open house this weekend, so I'm pretty sure we should get something then.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, anything that I need to be made aware of with regard to just the general condition? My biggest concern, LaShawn, just so you know, is I don't want to buy it and then 2 years later have to replace an HVAC, for example. So is there anything else like that that I'll need to be made aware of at all on this one?
No, we just had an inspection done, so everything looks good on the inspection.
Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, would this be a good rental for me? Would the neighborhood allow me to rent this out?
No short-term rental, so long-term, yes.
And how do they define long-term? Is that post 30 days or 180 days?
I want to say it's 180 days. I just need to confirm that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's 180 days. Yeah, it's just no Airbnbs, nothing like that, but
Okay.
long-term rentals. Hold on, let me text her right now. Okay. What other questions do you have?
The other question I have, and I don't ever like to talk about pricing so early in the listing, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Generally, I'm coming in with a cash offer. Is there any flexibility if I'm coming in and paying cash?
Like how much are you talking?
Not much. I'm not one of those investors who's offering 70 cents on the dollar, but I'm just anytime I pay cash, it's always nice to feel like I'm getting a little bit of an equity built into my deal.
Well, I'll ask the seller. She's a lender, so she's familiar with all of this, even more so than just a regular, seller would be. So what type of cash offer are you looking at, and I can send it to her?
I'll send you over something. I got to take another look at it before I throw something out. I just want to make sure that I do all of my research on it. The other thing, since she is a lender, I'm kind of curious if she'd be open to us simply coming in and paying full price, but also making sure that your commission's paid, closing costs, that sort of thing. Would she be open to us taking over the mortgage?
Like seller financing?
Yeah.
I don't know that she would. It's a military move. They're moving to Guam. So she just wanted a straight out clean transaction to be absolutely done with it because they'll be in Guam for a long period of time. I do know that 100%.
Okay. Well, I honestly, if I had the choice between those two options, I'd prefer to go that route if that's even possible. But I also know that they're probably not in a position yet to even consider something like that. So it's always a distant option.
Let me see. Oh, you wouldn't be able to do it because it's a VA loan. So I was going to say it may be assumable, but it's a VA loan.
I could technically assume a VA loan.
Oh, you could?
Yeah, anyone can assume a VA loan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm actually not interested in assuming it. What I'm more interested in is them potentially just mirroring the financing that they have in place. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get on the phone with her because I know she said specifically when we were meeting for the listing that they just wanted to be 100% free and clear of it. So let me get on the phone with her and I can give you a call back.
Well, you know what we should do, LaShawn, is not necessarily do that quite yet because this should be for them. Honestly, if I'm the seller, this should be a very distant option, second option for them. So
right. I just like to run everything by her.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to turn her off quite yet, as opposed to 30 days down the line, them saying, "Hey, let's actually consider that." You know what I mean?
Right. I got you.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll send you over my contact info, and if you could respond with your email, that'd be great.
Okay, sure thing.
Thank you, LaShawn.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. All right. Guys, I apologize. I'm not feeling amazing today. On this one, I'm gonna send them a creative offer, and sellers moving to Guam. So I'm gonna send them a creative offer, and like I said, and I got to freaking work on that. But the idea here is that I just want to lay a foundation, right? I want to put some work in on the front end of the agent. What's really interesting to me about this one is that the seller is a lender. And so I want to get this deal more than anything else, just to see how a lender would go through with this. I mean, shoot, how great of a story would that be? I took over a VA loan. The seller was a lender. In this case, I think she's probably just a loan officer or a broker. But how cool would that story be? So anyway, today was probably shorter than other sessions we've had. Thank you guys so much for understanding. I'm not feeling very well, but I hope that you guys got some value out of today. Today was day 10. We will be back tomorrow making more phone calls. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Appreciate it.